This is the Vario Arrow,
This is the Pimax Crystal.
which is exactly why the Beyond is so tiny.
Alright guys, so I finally tried Apple's Vision Pro. After using it, I think the Quest is the better product, period.
If you're new to VR or simply looking to upgrade, it can be pretty hard to rummage through all of the garbage VR headsets to find the one that suits you best. So why? After trying a ton of VR headsets ranging from the jaw-dropping Vario Arrow to the humble Quest 2, do I consider the Quest Pro to be the best VR headset for the money? A headset that The Verge gave a 4 out of 10 to and simply said isn't very good and irredeemably bad. Let me just start off with something that we already know. Journalists suck. Journalists, they rarely spend the amount of time with a product that someone like you or I will, and in the age of everything as a live service, things can change. And change the Quest Pro has. At launch, this headset was $1,500. At the time, that was getting close to the price of a Vario Arrow, a Halo headset that allowed consumers a glimpse into the walled garden of high-end enterprise VR. I have one, and it sucks. In fact, I got the Quest Pro to take its place because the Arrow disappointed me that badly. But that wasn't Meta's intention. Between the Quest 2 and the Quest 3, the Quest Pro is a literal black sheep, being the only black headset that they've made in the Quest lineup since the Quest 1 back in 2019. That weirdness proceeds into the naming scheme, partly because Apple abuses the Pro moniker so much, selling white girls Pro MacBooks and Pro iPhones to take Pro photos of their Pro Starbucks coffees. Meta, at least for the Quest Pro, takes pro grades seriously. They intended for this headset to be used by professionals as a monitor replacement, something to use in place of physical meetings, and to use mixed reality for some wild visualization. Meta intended for the Quest Pro to be a headset for people living the corporate nightmare. That is genuinely retarded. And they priced it as such. The Quest 2 at the time was around $300. I don't know, they keep changing the price of that thing so often I can't keep track. The Quest Pro, on the other hand, was $1,500. And the bigwigs that they expected to buy it, well, they just didn't. But this was before Mark Zuckerberg went from looking like an alien to becoming a looks-maxing Chad. And he cut the price of the Quest Pro by a lot. Right now, you can get one brand new for around $800. And here's what you're getting for that money. Fancy self-tracked controllers that are prone to failure, an irremovable head strap with no top strap, a battery that provides less battery life than a Quest 2, all topped off with similar performance to the now $200 and soon to be discontinued, wink wink, Quest 2. But you have the option to use VR with your peripheral vision completely open. This is the first really cool part of the Quest Pro. I have a smallish play space that I have to be really careful in, but more importantly, I have a really cute little dog that likes to walk around my room while I'm hanging out with the boys in VR chat. So being able to just look for him in the corner of my eye is stupid convenient. The Quest Pro also offers you a purely transcendental experience that no other headset can offer. My avatar has my real-life tattoos, and I even have the same Casio watch that my avatar wears in-game. It's really difficult to show you this, but being able to see my arm go from real in my peripheral to virtual in the headset with my tattoos and even the same watch is something you should really experience. Those sucky journalists from The Verge said that using the Quest Pro like this made them motion sick, which I don't mean to be a wiener about, but most people get over their motion sickness after the first month or two of using VR. So get from that what you will. The convenience and cool factor doesn't end there either. If you've spent enough time in VR, I'm sure you've busted a link cable or two, especially you index users out there with a cable that's as fragile as a wet noodle. If you want to use a link cable with any Quest headset, you can get a charging link cable for around $30 for extended playtime. That's a much better price than the $60 cable for an Arrow or the $130 cable for the Index. But the longest lasting cable is one that just doesn't exist at all. Using Steam Link on the Quest Pro, I don't have to worry about any link cable to step on or otherwise break for those under the influence nights in VR chat. And I didn't need to get an expensive dedicated router for this. You can use a hotspot on your PC, connect the headset to that, and you're set. But boneless, compression, and it's not PCVR native. I hear you. Compression is something that I've complained about before, but Steam Link on the Quest Pro has a trick up its sleeve that the Quest 2 and Quest 3 simply don't have. Foveated encoding. Thanks to the Pro's eye tracking, you get a crispy clean image wherever you're looking. But outside of your vision is a jumbled mess of compression, meaning there's less demand on your wireless signal while offering you a better experience. But it introduces a new problem, and that's battery life. Unlike the Quest 2 or 3, the Pro's battery is in the back of the head strap, meaning this headset is heavier on paper but feels lighter in use than any other headset I've experienced. At a decent brightness setting though, it will last for all of 2 hours. Now that's long enough for... Wait, what? Okay. Now, that's long enough for a lot of people who lead busy lives, but for us VR chat users who spend arguably too much time in VR, that simply won't do. Easy solution. Go the route of the Vision Pro and get yourself a portable battery. I use a Zyber neck-mounted battery to go from about 2 hours battery life to 5.5, call it 6. Goofy? Yes. Phallic? Absolutely. But does it last long enough? You betcha. Now time for the final icing on the cake, full face tracking. There are a few ways to get face tracking on other headsets. First, your eyes. Using something like iTrack VR, you can mod eye tracking into almost any headset with enough elbow grease. And that's cool, but when all it takes is ordering the wrong diode to blind myself forever, I'd rather not go through all of that. Then you need to track the lower half of your face. You can do this either by getting a now discontinued and very inconvenient Vive face tracker, or use your phone or a webcam to handle it, which either way ends up in something dangling over your face and looking like a cyberpunk dystopian nightmare. The Quest Pro, on the other hand, has full face tracking tucked entirely inside the headset. Face tracking that was built to purpose for those corporate bigwigs to be able to have fancy metaverse meetings as comfortably as possible. I can even fit my glasses inside the headset perfectly fine, meaning that you don't need to go out of your way to buy lenses for another headset. Speaking of comfort, if you look closely at my Quest Pro, you'll realize that it isn't stock. I don't know what it is with headset manufacturers. Maybe they test their headset's comfort on people with alien-shaped skulls, but none of them are comfortable out of the box. And before you say it, no, not even the Beyond. This is really the only real problem that I have with the Quest Pro. Meta ships these things out with the worst, most unsupportive pads out there that make a stock Quest 2 feel like a massage chair. To be honest, I have a hard time even calling them pads because they more closely resemble hockey pucks. So I swapped out those so-called pads with an aftermarket set from Globular Cluster. While that name sounds like and definitely is poorly translated Chinese, these pads are exactly what the Quest Pro should have come with in the first place. They even went the extra mile to include new backers that give the Quest Pro more surface area to bite onto. This kit does include a top strap, but I find that for me, it simply doesn't need it. The other thing is this haphazardly placed Vive tracker. This is used for continuous calibration and essentially allows my Quest Pro to be seen by my base stations, meaning that my Vive tracked full body and index controllers always show up in VR exactly where I would expect them to be. I also slapped a mod mic wireless on it. The stock mic isn't terrible, it just isn't great. If you've heard of Quest 2, that's what the Pro's stock mic sounds like. And now I need to give a bit of a fair warning about the Quest Pro's controllers. These are the single most premium feeling VR controllers I've ever used. I honestly prefer them over my index controllers, but they simply aren't reliable. The Quest Pro's controllers have a bit of a disease. For some they work perfectly fine, but for many others they simply freak out, becoming completely unusable. There is no fix. Meta has struggled to develop one since launch. All you can do is reboot the controllers and pray that they work. And even then, you don't know how long they'll work before you have to do it all over again. Long story short, Meta made a headset for professionals and inadvertently made what I would call the best VR headset out there for alcoholic weeaboos like myself. Well, bottoms up.
Thank you for watching, guys. Make sure to smash that like. I'm just kidding.
Thank you guys for watching. I really appreciate the support. Y'all are ballers. Have a good one.